Have you ever walked into a playground and wondered, why are there logs, ropes, loose planks, even saws lying around? In Denmark, playgrounds are designed to invite risk and creativity, not to eliminate them. In this video I'll show you how those daring playgrounds shape resilient, imaginative children, and what it reveals about Danish culture. Most of us come from places where playgrounds feel safe but bland, plastic slides, rubber surfaces, no surprises. I bet many viewers will feel uneasy watching a child whisk up a wooden plank or test a climbing rope. But by the end, you'll see, these risks are part of what makes Danish childhood so resilient, confident, and free. To help us out, be sure you hit like, subscribe, and share this video. Remember, you can buy our ebooks on denmarkexplained.com/products or click the link in the description. Sustainability and green energy. Viking heritage. Welfare system. New Nordic food. Welcome to Denmark Explained, your front row seat to the hidden gems, quirky traditions, and powerful stories that make Danish culture truly unforgettable. Have you ever wondered why some playgrounds look so different from the typical slide and swing setup? In some countries, playgrounds are carefully padded, standardized, and safe. But in Denmark, playgrounds were designed to embrace risk and creativity. And this approach goes back nearly a century. It all started with a simple observation. Children are naturally drawn to spaces where they can explore, build, and take risks. The first adventure playground was created in the 1940s as a junk playground, where kids could use loose materials like wood, ropes, and logs to construct their own play structures. Imagine a playground where nothing is fixed, where a child could climb, balance, hammer, and rearrange the environment every day. That's exactly what these playgrounds offered. Researchers studying child development have identified 6 types of risky play that are critical for growth: climbing to heights, moving at speed, playing with tools, exploring near potentially dangerous elements, engaging in rough and tumble play, and playing where children can hide or disappear. These are not reckless activities. They are controlled ways for children to learn about their limits, manage fear, and develop confidence. Later in this video, we'll see how these principles show up in modern city playgrounds. But for now, picture children building a small fort out of planks and ropes, deciding which plank to balance on, or helping a friend navigate a tricky climbing structure. What's fascinating is that these early playgrounds weren't about adults dictating the experience. Instead, supervisors were present but hands-off, letting children lead their own play. This method allows children to experiment, fail, and try again, skills that aren't taught in classrooms but are learned naturally through exploration. Over time, this idea spread beyond the first playground. It became a model for creating spaces where children can take calculated risks while being supported by the environment and subtle supervision. Even today, playgrounds inspired by this approach are found across Europe, and studies show that children who play in these environments tend to be more creative, resilient, and confident. You might be thinking, but isn't it dangerous? And yes, there is some risk. But minor injuries like scrapes and bruises are seen as learning experiences, not failures. This mindset is a key reason why children grow up with strong problem-solving skills and the courage to explore new challenges. Later in the video, we'll explore how these principles are applied in modern playgrounds and how they tie into the broader cultural approach to learning in childhood. But first, think about this. When was the last time you saw a playground where children could truly create and take risks on their own? Earlier we talked about the 6 types of risky play. Now let's see how Denmark applies those principles in real, modern playgrounds, and how children and communities benefit. So, we've seen how the idea of risky, creative play started. But what does it look like in real-life playgrounds today? Modern adventure playgrounds take those early principles and bring them to life in ways that are both safe and stimulating. Imagine a space filled with wooden logs, climbing ropes, tunnels, sand, water, and loose materials. Children don't just use the equipment, they create with it. Research shows that children in these playgrounds are more physically active, sometimes up to 20% more than in traditional playgrounds. They climb, balance, run, and jump in ways that challenge both their bodies and minds. And it's not just about movement. Loose materials and open-ended structures encourage problem-solving and creativity. Kids build forts, invent games, and experiment with new ideas. Later, we'll look at how this kind of play affects social skills. But for now, think about a child deciding which plank to use to balance across a makeshift bridge. That small decision is teaching critical thinking and confidence. One key feature of these playgrounds is minimal adult direction. Supervisors are present, but their role is mostly to ensure safety, not to dictate how play should happen. This hands-off approach allows children to take initiative, negotiate with peers, and solve conflicts on their own. It's a subtle but powerful way to foster independence. And here's something you might not realize. Playgrounds like this evolve over time. Children rearrange loose parts, test new configurations, and even create their own rules. Each day can feel like a brand new adventure. Story-driven design is another element that makes these playgrounds unique. Many spaces are inspired by local nature or cultural themes, creating an immersive environment that sparks imagination. A playground might mimic a forest, a river, or even a small harbor. These elements encourage exploration, curiosity, and engagement with the surrounding environment. Some might worry about injuries, but research shows that minor scrapes and bruises are common yet beneficial. Children learn to assess risks, understand their limits, and build resilience. In fact, these small challenges teach more about problem-solving and decision-making than any structured classroom activity could. Later, we'll explore how this philosophy connects to broader cultural values, but for now, picture the excitement of children testing their limits, helping each other, and discovering what they're capable of. It's not just play, it's preparation for life. And as you'll see, this approach has inspired playgrounds around the world, showing that embracing creativity and controlled risk can transform the way children learn and grow. Earlier I mentioned the 6 types of risky play children need. Which do you think is most valuable in developing creative thinking? A. Play with tools and construction, building, modifying, or B. Play with heights and movement, climbing, swinging. Write your answer in the comments. I'll reveal research-backed insights in just a bit. Planning a trip to Denmark? Or maybe you're moving there soon? Don't just Google your way through it. Let DenmarkExplained.com be your shortcut to a smoother, smarter, and way more fun experience. At DenmarkExplained.com/products, you'll find itineraries, ready-made plans that turn confusion into unforgettable days. eBooks, packed with local insights, cultural tips, and everyday know-how. No boring history lessons, just stuff that actually helps. Expat guides, moving to Denmark? Get the info you wish someone told you before you landed. Everything's digital, everything's simple, and everything's designed to make Denmark feel less confusing, and way more cozy. So skip the stress, and get the guides that explain Denmark, clearly, cleverly, and in plain English. Check it out now at DenmarkExplained.com/products. Your trip, our tips, let's make it amazing. To help us out, be sure you hit like, subscribe, and share this video. Remember, you can buy our ebooks on DenmarkExplained.com/products or click the link in the description. So we've seen the history, the practice, and the design. Now let's explore how this approach is grounded in Danish culture, values, and public institutions. So far, we've explored the history of adventure playgrounds and how they look in practice. But why does this approach work so well in some countries and not in others? The answer lies in culture and institutions. One of the biggest factors is trust. In countries with high levels of social trust, communities are more willing to give children freedom to explore. When parents, teachers, and local authorities trust one another, playgrounds can safely incorporate elements of risk. Children can climb higher, experiment with tools, and explore without constant interference, because adults know the environment is monitored and supportive. Later, we'll see how this trust links to long-term benefits in education and social skills. Municipal governments play a crucial role too. Significant portions of public budgets are dedicated to parks, playgrounds, and child-focused spaces. This isn't just about slides and swings, it's about creating environments that encourage independence, creativity, and physical activity. You might be surprised at how much planning and investment goes into each playground to balance freedom and safety. Education philosophy also supports this approach. Early childhood programs emphasize free play rather than rigid instruction. Teachers and caregivers act as guides instead of directors, stepping in only when necessary. This subtle supervision allows children to test limits, negotiate with peers, and solve problems on their own. Imagine a child deciding how to build a climbing structure while negotiating turns with friends. These small decisions develop resilience and social skills. Cultural norms reinforce this system. Societies that value independence, creativity, and risk-taking in childhood naturally support playgrounds that are less structured and more imaginative. Minor injuries, like scrapes and bruises, are socially accepted as part of learning, not as failures. This encourages children to take challenges seriously but without fear of reprimand. Legal frameworks also matter. In these countries, playgrounds can include controlled risk without excessive liability concerns. Communities can experiment with innovative designs, and parents can feel confident letting children explore. The result is playgrounds that are not only safer in a meaningful sense but also more enriching. Some cities even involve children and communities in playground design. Kids propose layouts, test structures, and rearrange elements, creating a dynamic environment that evolves over time. The adult's role is facilitative, ensuring that safety and creative freedom coexist. By embedding these principles into culture, education, and public policy, children grow up in environments that nurture independence, problem-solving, and confidence. Adventure playgrounds become a microcosm of society, showing how trust, guidance, and freedom combine to create capable, resilient individuals. Later in the video, we'll explore how these ideas are influencing playgrounds around the world and what lessons travelers or parents can take home. For now, think about how culture and trust shape the very spaces children grow up in, and why it matters more than you might expect. We now understand why Danish playgrounds emphasize risk and creativity. Let's conclude by exploring global lessons and how this model can inspire you, whether you travel, move, or build communities. Now that we've explored the history, practice, and cultural foundations of these playgrounds, it's time to look at what lessons the world can take from them. Danish-style playgrounds offer a blueprint for how to combine creativity, risk, and learning in ways that go beyond simple fun. One of the most striking features is the use of natural materials. Logs, rocks, sand, water, and ropes are not just decorative, they provide children with endless opportunities to experiment. Loose parts allow kids to build forts, bridges, or even entire imaginary worlds. Later in the video, we'll see how communities in other countries have adapted these ideas successfully. Climbing structures, tunnels, and elevated platforms challenge children physically while helping them develop coordination and balance. But it's not only about physical activity. Open-ended designs encourage problem-solving and creativity, as children decide how to use each element. Even small decisions, like which plank to use or how to balance on a rope, teach critical thinking and planning. Minimal adult supervision is another key principle. Adults are present for safety but do not dictate play. This hands-off approach encourages independence, decision-making, and social negotiation. Children learn to work together, resolve conflicts, and support one another in ways that structured play rarely allows. Story-driven design also plays a big role. Many playgrounds incorporate local culture or natural features, turning a playground into an immersive environment. A child might pretend they're crossing a river or exploring a forest while learning real-world skills like spatial awareness and risk assessment. Interestingly, these playgrounds evolve over time. Kids rearrange loose parts, create new challenges, and even invent their own rules. The environment is dynamic, shaped daily by the children who use it. Research shows that children in such playgrounds display higher levels of creativity, collaboration, and confidence compared to traditional playgrounds. These principles are now spreading globally. Cities in Europe, North America, and Asia are experimenting with adventure playgrounds inspired by this model. Communities often involve children in the design process, which increases engagement and ensures the space meets their needs. Comparative studies show that these playgrounds attract more children and keep them engaged for longer periods. The ultimate lesson is that playgrounds can be more than just places to play. They can be spaces that teach life skills. Creativity, problem-solving, confidence, collaboration, and risk literacy are all nurtured naturally when children are given freedom within a safe framework. If you're traveling, moving, or raising children, observing these playgrounds can give you a glimpse into how a culture values independence and learning through play. Think about how your own community could benefit from a space where children are encouraged to explore, experiment, and grow in a playful, safe, and challenging environment. Thanks for watching this deep dive into why Danish playgrounds focus on risk and creativity. If you want to explore more about Danish education, urban design, or lifestyle, click on the playlist to your right. I'll see you in the next video.